ever wondered who designed a logo, created the ad in the newspaper, or perhaps illustrated one of your favorite books? Well, today, you'll meet the person responsible for a lot of those images, and we'll introduce you to the world of graphic design. In today's world where we are besieged by millions of images every day, grabbing and holding your attention has become one of the biggest challenges that Gabrielle Redford faces as a graphic designer at Kempenfelt Graphics.
I've always had a very artistic streak, and ever since I was little I've been doodling and drawing and creating little characters. So graphic design seemed like the kind of art you could get paid for, and I always wanted to be an artist, so I decided to go for it. I applied for school. Once I got into a few schools, I decided which one I was going to go to, and I preferred Georgian because I preferred Barrie as opposed to Toronto. And once I got into school, I just worked as hard as I could. I studied, I listened to my teachers, I did all my projects on time. I just absorbed everything that I could from everyone I could. And once I graduated, I went out, started looking for a job. Fine arts is what I wanted to get into, but graphics arts is the fine art that pays. So you get a job at the end of it, whereas fine art, you can get a job, but it's not as clear what you can do. Illustrators are what they say, they illustrate, they draw spot illustrations. In my case, I draw a variable children's book for Wildfire Publishing. Graphic artists is a bevy of things. You can do web design, magazine work, editorial work, so newspapers, you can do, brochures. My father was always my inspiration. He's an artist as well. He does it on the side though, so he's like a hobby artist. He does watercolors and all that. My grandfather's the same way, so I've always been around it and influenced by it, and it's always kind of been in my blood, so I decided to pursue it. My mother was very persistent that I needed to get into graphic arts because, like I said, it was the art that paid, so she was very good at that, supporting me and pushing me. Like I said, coming from a small town, you don't know what's out there and all that there is to offer. I didn't even know what a graphic artist was, and my mom gave me that little push, and I was in it and I loved it.
Attention to detail is one of the most important elements of a graphic designer's job, and that can mean sometimes double, triple checking your work to make sure there's nothing embarrassing like a spelling mistake. But as the national spelling bee champion in grade 7, I doubt that could ever happen to me.
Tara, I was just looking at your work and I noticed the way you spelled sale. It's sale as in bargain, not boating.
Oh, I meant to do that. I meant to do that.
Designers used to do a lot by hand. They used to do everything on markers and with illustration board, and when you're presenting to a client, it was a rough mock-up that you had drawn out. And nowadays, everything is done digitally, emailing, contacting your client, presentations to your client, sending proofs to your client. Most of the artwork is done on using your computer, your technology. Software has changed huge, and the trends are changing all the time. When I started school, Quark Express, which is an editorial program, was the big program to use. It was the trendy program to use. It was the industry standard, and now it's shifted more to InDesign. In the 3 years that I was in school, it was huge by the time I left. So just little changes like that are happening all the time. It depends on your talent level, but like I do know graphic designers and artists who are quite good, and they were just hired right out of high school. But most employers require you to have at least a diploma in graphic design or something like that, or art or something. Georgian College is a great school. It's where I went to. It was really great. The teachers are awesome. The classes are small. Everyone I went to school with was really talented and out there doing really cool stuff. But you can go to OCAD as well, which is the Ontario College of Art and Design, which I know a few people going to that, and it's also very highly recommended. I think Humber College has a program, George Brown has a program, so there are programs you can take almost all over Canada. So I went to university for a year before I went to Georgian College, and I just did the same thing I kind of did in art fundamentals, only a wider range. I just tried everything and did everything, I just wanted to make sure what I wanted to do was the right choice, and I found that that was really helpful because, you know, when you do find the thing that you want to do, having taken those little bits of other courses, like I took music and creative writing, you have something more to bring to the table when you do get the job, because, you know, you can say, hey, I can write some copy for that because I took creative writing, or, you know, I can do this piece about music because, you know, I was a musician for a bit, or those kind of things can influence any job that you do. I found school was very important, and they were very good at giving us real world experience. So I found that I was very well prepped for the working environment. They had us working with clients. We didn't have a co-op, but the client work was just, I found, almost better because we were the designers, we were the art directors, we had to speak to the clients, and we had to, you know, make sure that they had what they wanted and we were giving them what they wanted. So I thought that, as well as our classes and studios, that they prepped us very, very well.
Being able to concentrate is so important for graphic designers, and that's because you could be spending hours staring at one finite little detail that requires your full dedication and attention. Is that a butterfly?
It's nice to get crazy and, you know, try new things, but you do have a time frame, so you have to kind of stay focused and remind yourself, you know, this has to be done in 2 weeks. This is what I'm doing it for. This is the subject that I'm doing it for. You know, some of the characteristics they should have are creativity, computer skills, communication skills, time management skills, self-management skills, an open mind. The ability to think outside the box would be nice, but, you know, it's not always necessary, and an eye for detail. There's a lot of little things that sometimes get overlooked, and it needs, you got to be able to pick them out, and good grammar skills and typing skills. I am an illustrator. I do a lot of the books, so that's really great, and they do give me almost total creative freedom with them now. They're variable children's books. The idea is that you can go online and order them, and you can answer all these little questions that will make the character look exactly like your child. So if your kid has blonde hair, the child in the story will have blonde hair. You can pick other little variable things as well. You can, the address can go in the book somewhere. I think in one of the stories there's a mailbox, and the address will go in there. So we found little ways to personalize it. Your child's name is also throughout the entire story, so it's a book about your child and with a cartoon character that looks like your child. So it's very personal, and we try and make them fun and exciting for the kids, and so they can see that their little names are everywhere, and their friends' names are in it, and their address is in it, and the name of their teddy bear, stuff like that. So my boss comes to me, and he gives me 6 stories for this new series, which is the My First Experiences series. And it's new baby, sibling, trip to the doctor, trip to the dentist, first trip on a plane, my new home, and first day of school. So all I have is this 2-page sheet with nothing on it. Basically, these are all my little notes. And then I go through it and I decide how the pages are going to lay out. Like I decided these 3 chunks are going to be the first page, that's going to be the second, third, and so on. And then I think about character design, and usually they give me a little bit of an idea of what they want, but this time they kind of said, you know, just come up with something. So I started with these guys, and I decided that I wanted their faces to be a little bit smaller, and their eyes a bit bigger. So then I went a step ahead and drew these guys. And then I decided I wanted their eyes to be smaller and their heads to be way rounder. So then I came up with these guys, this kind of stuff here, do some little facial expressions to see how I like them. And then I decided to go on computer, and I had originally decided for this series that I was going to go modern. But after doing a little bit of research, I found that there was a couple of my first experience series out there, and they were all done modern, not exactly like this, but, you know, kids in t-shirts and being silly in modern times. I thought, well, wouldn't it be neat if we did this series in a futuristic kind of setting, and that would make it different from all the ones that are already out there. So I took the same idea. I just gave them different outfits. Kempenfelt Graphics were recognized for the Environmental Print Awards. They won 2 awards. One was for the printing process, which is environmentally friendly because it produces no waste, the way we print them. And the other was for the company itself, being innovative and coming up with this environmental series and the environmentally friendly way to produce them. So that was pretty nice to experience that, and it's also nice to be a part of that. The environmental issues, they are a pretty big issue, so it's nice to do something before it.
Customers are always right in this business too. Next on A Day in the Life.